Okay, book folding. To do book folding, you need a chart. I get mine from a lady called Nicole, and she's in America. She's on a page which changes its name regularly, but at the moment I think it's called Beautifully Beautified Books or something along those lines. The chart would look something like this. Looks really confusing, but basically, so I'm on page 205. This is a very complex pattern. You get very simple ones, but this is a complex one. And so each one represents a millimetre on the ruler. So 2.3, 3.3, 3.7, 4.1, 4.3. And then you go all the way through till 21.6. You'll see what you do for that in a minute. Mine is that when it's finished. Magic FM, it's the radio station I like listening to. Ronan Keating, Harriet Scott, they're the presenters. Not sure if you ever listened to Magic Radio. Ronan Keating, quite a famous singer. Not a fan of his newer stuff, but yeah. I like his older stuff, and I like Boyzone. Anyway, you do all the different pages. I use a tool like this that you keep your paper together with. It's like that. And then I've already pre-done them, but you basically slide it onto the paper, and then you would roll it over and score. Do that beforehand. I do 20 in advance because I've been doing this a while. Just pressing my pieces down because I've done it. Excuse Stewie Pug being mouthy as he does when I'm on the camera. So that's what I've done so far. You can see it says, almost says Magic Radio. There's a little line that's just where one hasn't quite folded. I'll get that in a second. Stewie, enough. If it doesn't quite look right, I just check it. So there's a couple that have unfolded themselves there. All fingers and thumbs. Quite often now when I haven't had any sleep. I'm on night 3 of no sleep at the moment, which is always a bit fun. Pug related stuff. Anyway, so now that line's gone and you see it says Magic almost. So we're nearly at the end of the Magic Radio part. We've got the radio, although I don't know that eye looks right, but I'll fix that later. So if it doesn't look right and there's no missing bits, then you go over it and look at the numbers. I have been naughty and not numbered the page. Seriously, Stewie Pug, can you stop it? So, to do a page, this is a portrait, so I skip every other page. So you'll have one that's got numbers on like this, and then the next one will be blank. That's how it gets to be a portrait, because it makes it shadow. This is my stand. I made this myself. My table is seriously covered in junk. Apologies. So, just 2 bits of wood screwed into a very junky table. Piece of wood with some holes in it. Trusty ruler. Put that up to the edge. Tub of cream just used to hold this down. Don't use it on my hands anymore. It's just used as a weight. 2 seconds. Can't be misbehaving when I'm on here. Be a good boy and I get you a reward in a minute. Good boy. So we start with 2-3 and then go to 3-3. He's misbehaving because he thinks I'm doing Silver Studios, which is my weekly meeting where I get to go and have fun and I sew and I talk to all my friends. I say talk to. They normally talk. I try to be heard. It's not easy. So we go 3-8, then we go 4. 4-3. This is the time consuming bit because there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 25, 26, 27, 32, 34, 36. There's 38 notches to put on there. 4, 4, 7, 755, 773. Right, I'll just pause it there because you don't need to watch me do all that. I'll come back when I've marked them all. About halfway through at the moment. It's went a little bit wrong. So I'm on 11.4. So 11.9, 14.8. So if I get you in for a closer look, I'm just gonna try anyway. I can't turn the camera around, but you can see what I mean by the notches there. Try and get you back in the same position a minute. Always hard to get the camera in position. That's always the hardest part. Got a nice tripod now. So 14.8. I realised partway through that I should have been marking them off because I had the wrong numbers, so I had to start again. So 15.1, 15.7, 16. It gets lower amount of numbers in a minute. 16.3, 16.7. I'm going to pause again so you don't have to get all the bored bit where you have to put up with listening to me going 16 this, 16 that, because that's never pleasant. And I will be back shortly. Okay, all done. Trusty scissors. So you're going to cut in. Normally I go for about half a centimetre at most. It doesn't matter as much on the portraits, but you still don't want to go in too far because it will affect it. If you're doing the non-portraits, it will affect it because you're going to do every page and it will show. So you snip all the lines that you've just done, unless you've gone wrong and you had to cut them out, scribble them out, in which case don't do the ones you've got rid of. I have done that before. Cut through a squiggly line. But that's easy, you just fold it as an extra. So snip all those. Then with the folding you do it backwards because it's easier. Trusty tweezers. Then you do, with this bit, you do the 2nd, the 4th, the 6th, the 8th and so on. You do all the even numbers. And so I start with number 2 backwards because it's the same backwards as it is forwards, and then I do number 4, which is a very small one, and so on. So I just basically do every other notch. Number 4 doesn't want to lift, and sometimes you get to the end and it's taking you ages and you haven't, and you've not got enough notches. You have to go through the whole thing again, and that's a bit tedious. But I've only been doing it a couple of years, well, 3 maybe. It gave me something to do during the pandemic when I was shielding, so that was nice. It is enjoyable. It's going to be a very long video, I apologise. Hopefully it will send on Facebook. Failing that I might have to email it. I know what Facebook's like about long videos. I've had that problem before. I had to YouTube stuff, but that's okay. And then that will look like that when it's done. And then I always pull up the one behind with it. And then sometimes you might have to push them in with your fingers, but I usually use the scissors because it just gets it in that little bit easier. Just to push down the ones that won't sit. And sometimes you have to flatten them manually. I can see there's one that won't sit properly, so you've got to push that down. And then done. I normally do that every 10 pages or so, and then yeah. Ta-da! Hope that helped. There are, like I say, ones you can do. Quickly show you. Let me straighten you up a bit. You're gonna have to see all my junk. No, should be fine. I'll show you one that's not. I've tried to turn the screen around before, but it ends up just doing a screenshot. So I will turn you around. This is one that is, turn you up. That's one that I mean is not a portrait, so it's that's a 3D, and so you have to go careful with the depth of your notches. And then good old Jigsaw over here. He is just a normal picture. Same with the canine. Anyway, hope that helped.